Men, I'm sorry to tell you, y'all are on thin ice with me. Just saying, okay? Guys are on thin ice. Why? Couple of different things, okay? I have to admit, being on the internet, being a woman on the internet, a content creator, if you will, I fight every day to not slip into misandry. Every day. It's an active battle, a choice I have to make. Because my God, do people, men, make it easy to just hate all of them, okay? Now, I don't, because I have a lot of lovely men in my life that I love and adore, that I would take a bullet for even, okay? I shouldn't have to, because I'm a lady. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, I fight every day, and they fight every day to remind me that men are not, they're just what I'm talking about, nothing horrible happened. I want to make that very clear. It's just agitate, like it's a baseline agitation, you know? And I don't get this with my women audience, or my femme presenting audience, I should say. And so unfortunately, I do think it's y'all. I do think it's the men. So sorry, you know, Sonny, it's your birthday. Dude, why are you here? Go enjoy your birthday. What the fuck? Happy birthday. You're spending your birthday with me? I don't even spend my birthday with me. Happy birthday. But yeah, it's just like a baseline irritation that I'm at, where I'm just irritated by like the smallest thing men do. And that's new-ish, you know? And like, I grew up with a little brother, you know? So like, this should have started sooner, really, if it was like an all men thing. I do think that this is, and he's a psycho with love. But like he is now, as an adult, a fuckboy. It's a problem, okay? But like, even that, I'm like, okay, I'm related to him, you know? That's one thing. But like, men that I shouldn't have to read their opinions are thrust upon me simply because I am a woman on the internet, and it's a level of irritation that I can't quite explain all the time. So yeah, as Chad is wishing happy birthday, and I'm just like, men are pissing me off. It's this level, there's this thing that's been happening a lot lately where men are just, in my audience, men are developing a parasocial shit with me that's agitating. Now, I love asking questions. I love good questions, and unfortunately, men rarely have good questions. It's a new phenomenon I'm discovering. Lately, it's just they didn't read the sentence, or they just say the word "what" as if I'm an idiot, and it does make me want to hunt them with a hammer. Like it is like this new thing that's happening. That's been happening a lot. Hermes, I hear you trying to get on the counter. You are one of the men in my life. Let's rein this in. Hang on, I'm gonna start eating. He'll show up because there's turkey in this. Amanda, you're on your diet. Why are you eating mac and cheese? Because I felt like it. Also, I had veggies already. Also, I'm not allowed to eat any more than this bowl. This is a cup. Can you believe that? I know it looks huge, but this is actually a cup of the actual pasta. I think it looks bigger because the turkey's in there, you know? But like, this is the portion, so I just can't eat more than this. I think it's the way the bowl is. Also on camera, I'm showing you top down. Like, so, yeah. It is a cup. Hermes. So basically, what really started it off, because I was posting a lot for Anime Expo, and just the amount of men, some of whom were already following me, that are just fucking dumb. I don't care if you're not attracted to me. You don't have to comment on my social media. You know, like I don't care that to you am unattractive, therefore my opinion is invalidated, which is a fascinating thing that only men do, by the way. Women don't do this. You're not wrong because you're ugly. A lot of men are ugly. Unfortunately, a lot of them are also smart, you know. It doesn't make them wrong. They're usually wrong because they're wrong. It's not because I'm not attracted to them. You know what I'm saying? Whereas for a lot of men, for some reason, if they don't find you attractive, you're just incorrect. You're a dumb, dumb, dumb woman. And it's really fascinating. And unfortunately, I have to then read their opinions because they comment on my shit. And alas, it's part of being on the internet. It's fine. But my irritation is when it happens in my comment sections, sorry, not my comment sections, my DMs. Because for some reason, they also think they have access to me. Again, the what, as if I'm stupid, agitating me. I posted to my story, my Substack post yesterday was paywalled, okay? And it was about this weird feeling I have despite my life being really good, okay? Because I love my life, I love who I am, all that stuff. I have a great job, okay? I feel very stuck, and I feel like I'm having almost like an identity crisis, but not really. It's hard to explain. And I wrote about that, and because I was oversharing, I put it behind a paywall, because of course I did, okay? And some fucking man scrolled up and just replied, ... what? I did have to physically restrain myself from blocking him on site. Because who do you think you are? And it's so minor. It's so minor. I know this sounds insane, chat. It's so minor, but it's the audacity to question the essay. It's the audacity to message me privately about it. It's just it makes me want to turn off. Like every day I open a message from a man against my will, and it does make me want to close my DMs. Like I like having my DMs open because you guys message me with story ideas, videos, events, funny Formula One memes that you found, whatever. But every day I open it, and I'm reminded that there are stupid men on this planet, and I am unfortunately exposed to them, and it's agitating. And again, it's not bad. It's not like aggressive. It's not bad. It's just like you are irritating to me, and I can't tell him that. Because why would I, and unfortunately, I get messages like that a lot. Like, I'll post something, and a guy that's following me talks to himself in my DMs, and it's usually like as if we're friends. Unfortunately, this thing has been happening a lot where I meet some of you at an event. It's usually men that do this. It's always men that do this. And then we bump into each other again at an event, and you talk to me like we know each other. I'm so sorry. I don't remember you. It's happened several times recently. And I'm so sorry. I don't remember you unless you are very, very clear. And even then, the men don't do it. Women usually will come up and they're like, I'm so sorry, we actually met here. Or like, oh, I wanted to meet you here. Like they immediately try to quantify because they assume I don't remember them. And then that, usually if you connected to that, that's one thing. Guys refer to me as Amanda often, and which is weird. And that's another thing for Anarchy too. She's like, yeah, if they call you Amanda, I can suss out how it's gonna go, which is interesting. When you guys are like Swell or Swell Entertainment, it's usually a very minor interaction. It's the over familiarity because we've met in person one time. I'm so sorry. I don't know you. We're not friends. Hi, cool. And then they look like confused when I walk away because I don't know what's happening. With love, respectfully, And as I said, the guy that was following me while I was filming the other day, that still got me, okay? But that message from that one dude ticked me off. I explained it to my father, and then he just went silent, and he was like, what's so bad is I can't make a sarcastic comment right now. And I'm like, yeah, you can't. You can't. Because you know what? You'll be added to my shit list, my hammer list. And he did find that funny as fuck. So, unfortunately, the man that is... the top of the line for trying to keep me from hating all men. He does toe the line with my irritation levels, and he knows that, and he purposely pokes it. So you do have to think about that, men. So if any of you meet my father, I don't know, one day, tell them, hey, man, she's gonna hate us all if you don't lock in. Sort it out, be a better dude. My name is blank, fan of your channel, bye. No, this is a very specific thing where it's people that I have met at events before, as in they came up, they asked for a photo, whatever. And again, I know I play an extrovert on TV, guys. I do have anxiety. It's not social anxiety, but I do have anxiety. My thought process of could this person murder me goes up at least 10% when we talk at an event. And it's fine. A lot of you are lovely. It doesn't matter. You now tell me that you are a stranger that knows who I am. Okay? I can't help it. It's an anxiety thing. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Okay? So like already I'm like focusing on like, let's make sure the interaction is good. I'm trying, if I'm not busy, I'm trying to make sure you're enjoying the interaction, you know, as much as I'm comfortable with, you know, because I don't want to be the bitch YouTuber. So I met someone who was like, I'm sorry, I've never met a YouTuber before this weekend. And I was like, I'm so sorry you met me. You could have met Markiplier or someone cool, you know, like making jokes. And like, there's time where like, and I know because sometimes I can see it, especially men think that we're going to have the same interaction that I have with women, especially older men. And like, I'll have this interaction with men. Your best case of me actually being like parking it with you, you gotta give me some cheese may. You gotta have some tea. Some hot goss of the event if we bump it. Hey, I work at so-and-so. I've got the shit I could tell you. Oh my God. Now I'm locked in. Now we're chit-chatting, okay? Now we got things, and again, it's not going in a video, but I want to know this shit, okay? Oh my God, did you hear what happened? You know, like whatever. And girls are better at this than men are, okay? I think because men think, some men think they can sleep with me. I don't know, okay? But it's a thing that I've noticed, okay? And so then I see guys later, and they're like, oh, well, I didn't have that with Amanda. That's weird, you know? And it's like, yeah, it was very brief because you asked for a photo and we did the photo and then I went on about my day. No offense, you know, like it's not a bad thing. And these people ask for photos. Is it cool if we get a photo? Like, it's not the photo thing. I want to make that very clear. It's just a vibes thing. The percent murder chance is exactly why I don't think I would go up to internet people in person, because I am large, tall, and awkward, and unfortunately that's optimized for intimidation. That's fair. And again, I think it's like a situation thing, because like there's been plenty of instances where like things were fine, especially with men. Like this is also the thing that I have to be aware of now. If I park it in an area, whether I'm talking to that guy or not, for some reason men like to then keep talking to me and admitting to shit, you know, or they get way too familiar because it's like, oh, well, no, we're friends now. And it's like, well, no, I don't know you, you know. I just can't leave this moment, you know. Like the guy at San Diego Comic-Con last year, that while Anarchy was trying to get me with them into the fashion show, after I took a photo with a guy, I didn't leave because I was standing with Chris and we were waiting for Anarchy. And this guy is standing there and he's like, yeah, it's crazy. I followed you around at TwitchCon and now I get to follow you around in another video. And sure, could that be socially awkwardness just coming out? Sure, that's a horrifying sentence to hear from a stranger. Okay, it doesn't matter that it's socially awkward. It doesn't matter if you're on the spectrum. You have any neurodivergent. I have neurodivergence too. Okay, but I am conscious of how I speak to people. Unfortunately, I know that's not the case for everyone with neurodivergency. I understand. It doesn't change how people react to you, though. You know, that's a scary sentence to hear. Chris was like, what the fuck? Like immediately, okay? Same with the guy at TwitchCon that one time that me and Hassan were like kikiing with this group of guys and they'd asked for a photo, whatever. And then at like 3 minutes into the interaction, guy goes, yeah, I'm actually the one that's been asking for feet pics in your DMs. The speed with which Hassan removed me from that interaction, okay? I don't know what it is. Unfortunately, if I don't keep an interaction brief, it gets weird, okay? So, and unfortunately, it's only happened with a girl one time. And it was typically with girls when they are, trying like that type of interaction. It's not like an attraction thing or anything like that, or like oversharing. It's trying to get me to agree with them. As in, I shared an opinion, they disagreed with it. They think I'm wrong. They want me to agree with them. Okay, that's happened a few times, usually about my opinion about a creator or an author or something like that. And it's like, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to a different panel now. I'm going to walk away now because you've now followed me down the stairs. We're in a whole different area of this little con, and this is weird. So I'm going to separate it because you're following me now. Okay, that's typically what's happening. Yeah. What do you think I'm going to say? No, that's the thing. And like there's another creator that brought up a really good point about men sharing, like throwing sexual things into conversation and expecting you to just like deal with it and walk away, or like have it not change the vibe. And she was on the phone. She was talking about how she was on the phone with a casual friend. And she was talking about moving out and wanting a different roommate. And he was like, oh, would you ever live with a guy? And he was like, no, not unless I was dating him or we were engaged, you know, whatever. Like, just very cut and dry. And he was like, what if your male roommate came to your room and like asked if you wanted to have sex with him? And she was like, I would break the lease and move out. Oh, really? Anyways, what's up? No, we're done. What the fuck? That's weird. That's fucking weird. Why would you say that to someone? That's crazy. You know? There's shit like that. I don't tolerate that shit from my guy friends. Straight up. Like, we can talk about girls that you're seeing. We can talk about guys I'm seeing or girls I'm seeing. It doesn't matter, you know? But if we're having a normal conversation and you throw in sexual content into that, we're done. If I was into you, I would have done something about it. Don't talk to me like that. That's fucking weird. Only characters like that, yeah. They get away with without outing themselves. I'm sorry, that's outing someone. Hey, I think you kind of want to fuck me and it's really weird. This other girl, she was talking about why she no longer is friends with men. Thank you for following. Sorry, like numerous people followed. I'm so sorry. While I was ranting. She was talking about why she's no longer friends with men. And I have a few friends like that. I have a few girlfriends that like, they are not friends with men. Any men in their lives are the boyfriends or husbands of their friends. Like, that's how they operate. They don't see the value in men outside of dating, outside of anything like that. To each their own, okay? I have a lot of great friendships with men. That's how, but again, I will cut you. Don't push it, okay? But they're very happy in their singleness in that state of being. But this woman was talking about why she's no longer friends with men. She was talking about how she had this guy and they had talked about how they kind of had been attracted to each other. They never went on a date. It wasn't the right time. They weren't into each other. Like, they were like, oh, I'm attracted to you, but I don't want to date you type of thing. They both had agreed upon that. Okay. And then so they were friends and there was just a handful of times where they were hanging out and he had like gone over to her house to like hang out and like watch movies or something, or he was going to and then didn't. Like, something came up, he just had to cancel. Okay. And she was like, oh, okay, like he just got called, like work came up, whatever, no big deal. A few weeks later, they're talking on the phone and he was like, oh yeah, I didn't come over because I knew I was going to try and sleep with you. Like, I thought I could get something from you coming over. And she like blocked him on everything, like never doing this again. Because she was like, I never thought that like he got to that point of like, we had already decided, we knew we weren't attracted to each other. We never slept together. I told him I didn't want to sleep with him. I was talking to someone else at the time. He knew that. And his goal with coming over was trying to sleep with me. And that thought process that she never even thought that he would still be thinking that scared the fuck out of her. And so now she's not friends with men anymore. And that's unfortunately not an uncommon thing. Like, I've had a few friends that were like one or two of like the token girl in like a group of guys growing up, you know. And they found out later that like, and they loved and adored these guys. These guys were like their best friends. However, when we got through high school and college, they found out how these guys were speaking about them in private, including, you know, yeah, I think I can at least get a blowjob from her if I go over to play COD, you know, like just the way they start talking transactionally about the women in their friend groups, like, was very fucking jarring for a lot of people. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate and it's awful. Or like this girl who was talking about how she was in a group chat. She was in a Discord call with her friends. And like one of these guys, she's like, that's my, like, he's like my brother. Like, I love him. He loves me. I'd take a bullet for him. He'd take a bullet for me. And one of the other guys in the group said that he admits he openly admitted on the call with her there that he saves her Instagram photos for his spank bank. Like, openly admits to jerking off to her photos like it's like a funny joke. And she was like, hey, that's fucking weird. That makes me really uncomfortable. Can you fucking delete those? And what bothered her most was not just that, because she didn't give a fuck about this guy. It was the fact that her friend thought that was funny as fuck and didn't have an issue with it. Was about to get married to another woman and she was pregnant. He felt the need to tell me before it was too late. Ah! Hey, it's too late. You've impregnated another human. That's, I'd say it's leaps and bounds too late. What inside thoughts are. Yeah, sometimes, like we've talked about, if you have a crush, that's not my fucking problem. It's really not. If we like each other, that's one thing. But you liking me, I'm so sorry. That's not... I'm not going to do something about that. And also, someone brought up a really good point. Kat Black, she posted on TikTok about how dating is inherently exclusionary. And she talked about all the reasons as to why, okay? And I fully agree, because it's not my job to be inclusionary with my body. As I've said, I'm not having kids with a loser. That excludes a vast majority of the male population. That's fine. I'll die alone. I'll die without children. I don't give a fuck. I'll adopt one day. I've already decided that at this point. I'll sort it out. But like, I don't need to be, you're single because you're just, what about the nice guys? Okay, well, are the nice guys ugly and smell bad? Sorry, I do need to be attracted. I think one of the funniest videos I'll ever see was this woman. She was leaving an airport and she was like, I just had this guy come up to me and he was like, hey, you're gorgeous. Can I get your number? And I said, no. And he goes, can I? But like, don't be like that. What if I was your soulmate? And she looked at him and said, no, you're not. He's like, whoa, wait, why not? She was like, well, because I think when I meet my soulmate, I'm going to want to fuck them. Valid point. Valid thought. Because you know what? As I said, guys won't think you're smart unless they're attracted to you. Why should I be interested in if I'm not attracted to you? The end. The end. The end. You have a son. I have a son. He's chilling. He's good. He's the only man in my life. Oh, yeah. You guys, we didn't talk about the speed dating at Anime Expo. Okay. I don't think speed dating at Anime Expo is like inherently a bad idea because, like, for example, I know plenty of people that have met their partners at conventions, okay? Not Anime Expo specifically, but like plenty of people that have met their partners at conventions. Straight couples, gay couples, etc. Okay? And so like this is not an inherently bad idea. It's bad to just be, from what I saw, it looked like it was a free-for-all. Like, hey, we're doing speed dating. Come at this time. Like, no, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Making it like a passive thing like that is never a good idea. Also, when there's so many other things happening. That's a side event where we're charging tickets, like we're, at the very least, you're charging $1 fee to reserve a spot because people show up if they pay $1. Also, that helps control the ratio. So about 40 men showed up and maybe I saw 3 women. Maybe. And everyone's clowning on the guys. They're like, why would any woman go when we've got the Love and Deep Space cosplayers here? Which, like, it's not even just that. There's more fun shit to do than go on speed. Speed dating sounds hellish. Oh, wait, no, we did talk about this because I said I wouldn't go to that as a single person because the thought that with my audience, a vast majority of them are at Anime Expo. The thought of sitting across from a man and him being like, oh my God, you're swell entertainment. Whatever lady boner I had would just like detach and like shrivel and die on the convention carpet, like right in front of all of us, you know, like that's what would happen immediately. And I'd be like, I need to leave. Okay. So like I could never do convention speed dating. Okay. It actually sounds like my fucking nightmare. So they were a bunch of guys were pissed because it was speed friending. And they had no idea how to switch because too many dudes showed up. And I do think it's interesting because I've gone to quite a few singles events here in LA now. And so often, the vast majority, it's like maybe 70% women, 30% guys. That's a generous ratio for men, okay? And so the girls are like, you know, they're talking with each other, they're talking to them, they're like going, and the guys kind of hide and look scared. Last time I went to one, I literally told Scootish, I was like, you can talk to girls, like you should have come with me to this because I do think you would have cleaned up on phone numbers. Like, not to speak about women that way, but Scootish is charismatic, okay? Scootish can talk to women, okay? So I almost should have done the service of bringing Scootish to that so that at least someone walked away with a date. Okay. And like that's the thing, you know, like it's the hiding. Like you should be, hi ladies, what's up? Walking up to a group of friends. I'm John. Hi, nice to meet you. So what brings everyone here? You know, you'd get laughs because everyone obviously is like, to meet a man, you know. So like it would have been funny. And then you just kind of start, you know, like let's just talk. Let's talk. But we're hiding at a table. We're hiding with a beer. What are we doing? Form a genuine connection. Yeah. Also, again, I'm so sorry. Unfortunately, until the general stank of Anime Expo gets better, I can't imagine the speed dating room being a place that we see women flock to in the future. Especially because I don't doubt that women probably went, saw the amount of men, and turned around. Like, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that. It's a safety thing, okay? Like, I would not be sure. They saw the amount of men in line and were like, oh no, you know. Yeah. So it is what it is. But that's that. Do you guys want to hear the email that I got? From a suitor. So, in case you guys didn't notice, I noticed and I didn't want to say anything because I'm humble. Okay. Despite the fact that I was sweaty and tired and in a hotel room with bad lighting, I looked really gorgeous in my Universal Kids Resort video. I don't know if you guys clocked that. I did. This emailer did. I looked really fucking good. In case you need a refresher, hold on. Should I pull up just a freeze frame so you guys can see what I'm referring to? And I don't know if you know this, I clean up real good. I'm cute, okay? Hold on, let me find I don't have a good freeze frame face. That's the problem. Hold on. Should we start here? Okay, close enough. Let's do this. Here you go. And it's a little blurry, you know, because I'm filming. Yeah, we're on 1080. Okay. Just I'm filming with the, what's it called? I'm filming with the Osmo inside with low lighting. It needs better lighting than this, okay? But like, I look real pretty, okay? And it's like simple pretty. I'm sunburnt a little. I don't know if this was, I don't think I'm sunburnt here. I do think it's from my bag, because I had like literal bruises from my bag because I was getting a bunch of free shit. So I was hauling everything. I do think this is just like redness here. But like my hair is a little, like, is it frizzy? Sure. I don't know what it is. I just look real fucking cute. And you know what? Apparently this writer agreed. I'm me. I'm hot. Anyways, this emailer agreed, and I want you to know I was primed for this email. My manager texted me, heads up. No, let me read you the text. Because my email in my inbox now is no longer the Swell Entertainment email, which you can still find if you search for it. It is my manager's email now, so I stopped getting dumb shit. Horrifying email incoming, LOL. That's what she said. Oh God, what is it? I said. She said, just a classic socially inept middle-aged man. And I said, oh, fun. And I did say, I was like, you know what? I did look really good in that video. So I get it. So that's the Universal Kids Resort. The subject line of this, full team on this because we all deserve a laugh. I just want you all to know, my manager, Colleen, who is a tall, sassy redhead, is getting your emails now, okay? So when you send shit like this man is not a viewer. I'm not gonna show you his selfie because he's wearing sunglasses. There's grip tape or duct tape on the steering wheel of the car. I believe this is a teenager's arm, so I believe that's his son in the car, in the passenger seat. And you can see in the reflection of his glasses, because I can't see his eyeballs, the photo he attached. It is a selfie while he's driving on a road that he took. Yeah, he definitely cropped it, because, oh my God, he cropped it. Because the photo, you guys, I can't show you. He's holding his phone like this. So it's definitely a selfie he was taking of like him and his son, but he sent it to me in this format, which means he cropped his own son out to send me this photo. The subject line, beautiful lady. That's the subject line. Hi, Amanda. My name is Dominic, and I just watched one of your Space Tube videos this evening trying to gain some insight on Universal Kids Resort in Texas. I'm not sure if you're married or in a relationship, as I don't get on social media much, and I just saw you for the first time earlier today. Ha! But please tell me you're single, because you are so stunningly beautiful in all you do! Exclamation point. From your sarcasm and the cute faces you make, to your brutal honesty and your pouty faces and everything in between! Exclamation point. You truly are intelligent, space witty, and you have a very seductive personality! Exclamation point. Space, you're one of a kind, doll. So, yeah, no, you're right. You're one of a kind, doll. ... Keep up the good work. Love to hear back from you sometime. ... Dominic. And then the selfie. With his son in the vehicle. I'm telling you, I don't think AI wrote this. I'm looking at it, and I can't show you because his face is in it. I don't think AI wrote this. I think this is genuinely a grown man thinking that he is a shot with a hot 28-year-old YouTuber. So, yeah. No, kind doll is like a endearment term, like doll, you know. It's it's very Steve Rogers attempt, which I think is what he's trying to do. Is it's like, oh, I'm like the suave older man. Yeah, doll, you're like real cool. You know, pouty. Yeah. Well, I'm assuming it was this face that I kept making that video. What? Seductive personality is what took me out. I was like, the fuck? See, my problem, because it's always the old men that send me these emails. Usually I get 35-year-olds like being angry that I like said I wouldn't date a loser. And then I get like an essay of why I'm a bitch. You guys, we missed the anniversary of that one email from, I think it was Bob. Do you guys remember Bob? That essay from last year. We missed the anniversary. We should have celebrated. About how I'm gonna die alone or something. Because I'm suddenly a 5 or some shit. Oh. Hold on. Should we do a dramatic reading? So this is from Bob. June 17th, 2025. US time, it was sent at 5:38 p.m. I got it around 3 a.m. in France. Again, I was in France at the time. So already, anything this man said to me was irrelevant because I was in France and had hot French men telling me I was beautiful. So, really anything he said to me, by his own definition, a fucking loser, was really just gonna go over my head. Men really don't like it when you know you're hot. They get really obsessed with like humbling, or like even like they know you're hot because they're hitting on you and they want to sleep with you, but as soon as you're like, you're right, I am, they're like, whoa, 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 I didn't mean it like that. Let's calm down. You're like a 4. It's like, okay, well, you were trying to sleep with me 2 seconds ago, so you're trying to fuck a 4, I guess. I don't know. You don't know your beautiful moment. Get fucked. I don't care. Yes, me and my 28 years of life. No one's ever called me hot. Oh my God, it's you. You're the first one, man from the internet. You did it. Oh my God. I'm so overcome with emotion. Oh my God, because no one's ever called me beautiful before. As an adult woman with boobs. Boobs. No one's ever called me beautiful before. You're so right. You're the one. You're my Prince Charming. I should rip my clothes off right now and just present myself to you. You know, like, go fuck yourself, actually. Not the boobs. It's for emphasis, the ellipsis. It's for like dramatic effect. It's like a pause. Boobs. Okay. Would you guys like, again, this is a long one. Would you like the dramatic reading from Robert? Bob. Also, he used his government name as the title. Hold on, let me make this bigger. Can I zoom? Why is it so small? I can't see anything. Settings. No, I want zoom. Zoom. Give me zoom. Did they hide zoom from me? What the fuck? Hang on. Here we go. There we go. Okay, so chat, some of you may have heard this before. Greetings, Amanda. I recently saw your video titled, I hate bad relationship content. You made a comment in the preface of your video, the people I'm attracted to aren't attracted to me. Also used the wrong 2. This statement is why you can't find a partner. I hope you understand how narcissistic that statement is. You're not thankful you're single. You're angry. You're angry because you can't have what you want. You're a 3 who wants 8s, 9s, and 10s. Being afraid of men in your league isn't going to make you more attractive. Criticizing men like you did in your video is incredibly emotionally immature. New paragraph. Fixation on bad/stupid narcissistic YouTubers and relationships isn't going to magically turn back time and reverse your turbulent childhood. Being jealous of people getting married and having families isn't healthy. Having 400,000 subscribers, he took 100,000 off my subscribers, by the way, isn't going to make you as happy as having a family. You're 27 and 35 hits you faster than you think. Most men in your league on average make $30,000 to $50,000 a year. You will have to make a decision soon to be less shallow. Your standards are too high. Again, the wrong 2. I understand what it's like to have your innocence be taken away from you at a young age. My parents also hated each other. I also don't trust people, but for different reasons. As a man, I don't trust women because it seems women only want to take money from me. I'm also a 3. But I get attention from 1 to 10s with kids or who are at the end of their biological clock and want to trap me. I only make $52,000 a year in California. Even if I was attractive, I still don't make enough money to have a wife. I'm 34, and everyone I know who doesn't have kids or a family are complete losers or just bad people. I'm alone because I don't want to go out every weekend and snort cheap Coke, he misspelled cheap, and drink pretentious beer. I'm alone because I wasted time and didn't focus on getting a better job and losing weight. I'm alone, and it's my fault. I don't blame women like you blame men. I blame my parents for giving me a bad childhood and taking my innocence away. But at my age, all that's left is blaming yourself. Myself, that would be okay. Eventually, what happened to you, us, doesn't matter. It's what we're left with that hurts us the most. The rankings and the matter of fact doesn't matter the older we get. Do you think your married friends with families are going to be there when you're 40 and alone? My friends aren't around and I'm only 34 and alone. Your YouTube career and cool life is finite. Your dad isn't going to live forever. He can't protect you forever. Being alone isn't cool. It isn't a lifestyle choice. Stop being so pretentious. Stop being so fucking shallow. Wake the fuck up. This isn't a game. Bob. P.S. Believe it or not, we're in this together. We all are. Good luck. End scene. My favorite part about a lot of this is 1, he clearly didn't listen to the full video. 2, he took 100,000 off my subscribers at the time. Rude. 3, seemingly the threat that my father is the reason I'm single. My dad, if I looked at a man tomorrow, my father would buy him a ring. Okay. Then we have, what else? Do you think your married friends with families are going to be there when you're 40 and alone? Yeah, I'm not a fucking loser. Have you considered that you're unfun to be around? And that's why your friends don't want you around and you're 34. Have you considered that? You know, because I don't drink. I don't snort cheap Coke and drink pretentious beer, but I still go out with my friends because I'm fun. I have fun with them while being sober. It's like, it's fun for me. I enjoy my time because I love my friends and I show up for them. And so in turn, they show up for me. Also, I have a lot of friends that are single and cool and they don't intend to get married ever, you know? So again, that's it. And again, it's like my whole thing. What's so funny about this whole thing, the people I'm attracted to aren't attracted to me. In that video, if you watch it, this is from I Hate Bad Relationship Content, okay? Because the media is like, we need the birth weight to grow up. And then all the content being pushed is like women in horrible relationships with their partners, clearly fucking hate them. Yeah. And so I made a video about that. And I said the people I'm attracted to are not attracted to me. And that had nothing to do with physical type at all. I'm very attracted to confidence and just like outgoingness and charisma. And because of how I am on the internet, I attract very meek, awkward people, and I'm not attracted to that. That's it. It had nothing to do with it. You know, I attract people that really want me to like be the take charge and make the move or whatever. And it's like, that's not my type. I'm not into that. Men and women, like I like confidence. I like people taller than me. Like that's it. You know, like yeah, I probably mentioned taller than me, but I'm 5'2". That's not hard. Skill issue. Get lifts. You know, like I don't know. So yeah, like that's what I was referring to. No point was I like, they're ugly, therefore I'm so hot and sexy, I deserve a 10, you know? Where's Chris Evans? You know? like that's not a thing that happened in that video, you know, which is so funny. Bobbert needs therapy. At this point, talking to yourself is an option. Yeah. The dude needs to look internally to solve the problem. I mean, I think he could stand to, you know, read a little bit because the amount of typos in this is like abysmal. What is this from? Nomad, this is an email that a man sent to me because I said in my video, I wouldn't have a child with a loser. That I would rather die than have a child with a loser. It's like a thing that I won't do. And I think he realized he never had a shot. That's typically what happens here. But also, I think so many men, even viewers of mine, or men that just might stumble upon my videos, just don't, I think, they may think like I'm like funny, therefore I am worthy of their attention, even if they're not attracted to me. But then as soon as I'm like, or they think I'm like mildly attractive maybe, and then as soon as I'm like, oh no, it's okay, I'm hot, I know I'm hot, this is fine. They get really, like I said, offended by that and want to humble me, which is fun. Hey, dogs will holler, I feel. Yeah, I mean, he's a self-proclaimed loser. So, like, I also thought it was really funny because, like, the men in my, apparently, men in my, like, category make max $50,000 a year. So I don't know if you guys know this. I make more than that. So by your own definition, I am now higher than a 3. I don't know what he thought I make as a YouTuber, but I am in that like 4% that makes more than 30K a year as a YouTuber. So I, you know, I also have this thing with across the board. I probably wouldn't be with someone that makes less money than me, frankly, because I don't want to deal with the resentment down the line. I don't feel like it, you know? Why did I would rather die than have a child with a loser kind of feel like a Tramp Stamps lyric? Oh my god. We should bring back Tramp Stamps in the year 2020, 2026. So yeah, like I said, I'm just like, it's a low level of irritation. Also, the amount of men on so many of the Anime Expo videos that are like, it's like this every year. I don't know why everyone's acting like this year was so bad. It's like, dude, you're tall. Of course it's not that bad for you. You can breathe. The crowd was 100% worse this year. Whether by the amount of people or the makeup of the, or the layout of the convention center or how they did it, it was 100% worse this year. And so you don't get brownie points for being Mr. Tough Guy and being like, it's like this every year. Okay. Bye, you know. It's just a box, and then I just tossed in ground turkey that I sauteed up. I cooked up on the stove. I would probably not date another man. Dude, I know the dating market is rough. Like, just the standard of dating. I'm not even talking about like inceldom. I'm not talking about not the rise of Nazism in men. Just like the baseline for men dating is down immensely because every dating influencer that I've ever seen that is currently single, like actively makes dating content. blew up from dating content. They're all talking about how they're not dating anymore. All of them. That's how you know. And like, that's part of their content. So they're incentivized to put up with the bullshit. But they are deciding that it's so bad out here, it's not worth it. My friends that are in relationships, married, my married friends are like, for the love of God, I like you being alive, please don't date. They're convinced that if I date men, I will be murdered. Just like as a baseline. I told you guys about the woman who, she made a video about how she made a video being like, I just left the worst date of my life or whatever. And it was like literally as she was leaving. And then people were like, oh my God, what happened? What happened? Like, tell us what happened. And so she did a sit down video. And I think it was like a first or second date. It was like very early. She didn't know this guy a lot. And they were doing like the getting to know each other part of the date. And it's early on in the date. And they're talking about like, I can't remember how she said it got started. But she was like, he asked point blank if I would do a sex act. Which I think, because she wouldn't say it, I think is just anal. Fine, you don't have to do anal. That's okay. That's fine. I'm not laughing because she doesn't want to do anal. That's not, I'm also not saying that I do that. I'm just saying, like, it's funny to say it in context. But like, the fact that she wouldn't say it, I thought was kind of funny. But the fact that he asked her that is jarring. And she was like, oh no, I'm not going to do that. You know, like, haha, lighthearted. And he was like, I think you will for me. Who the fuck are you? No, I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Okay, well, would you rather be tied up or dumped in a dumpster? And starts going through all these other versions that are openly violent, as if because she won't do this sex act with him ever in their relationship, he's going to kill her on like a first date. So she starts grabbing her shit. She's like, I'm gonna go. I'm very uncomfortable right now. And he's like, would you rather be stabbed or shot? Like, just keeps going. So yeah, I don't blame people for not dating. I don't want to date. I just don't. I've never wanted to date. It's always just kind of been like I feel like I should, you know? Especially because I'm working on a book right now about like going it alone and living alone. It's funny because when I talked about this, I was like, oh yeah, if like I did happen to get into a relationship, I would have to keep quiet about it. My manager is like, yeah, you're not saying shit. But I'm like, I thought about going on a couple of dates just for the sake of research, like, cause like it is like a jarring thing to go out alone and go on dates. And I would go on dates with like men and women. And I thought about it, and then the more I thought about it, I was like, God, do I want to fucking risk that shit? Like, I just don't, like, it really doesn't appeal. Like, every time I think about downloading an app, going on a date, anything like that, I'm just like, but like, I could go for a walk with my dog instead. You know, I could hang out with my friends. Like, there's so many other things I could be doing, you know? A self-inflicted, yeah. You know, and again, it's like, I think there's a loneliness epidemic and it's affecting everyone, okay? We're extremely online. The social media age has made us less social, okay? Gen Z can't talk to each other. Gen Alpha is addicted to screens. Teenagers are doing fucking, like, mall raids to, like, have a third space, you know? Like, there's shit happening. And so, like, everyone is lonely and sad, and the tech companies are preying on it. But the difference is that women, because we've always been socialized to, like, deal with shit and figure it out, be the good ones, you know, figure it out, find our own communities within women, within nail salons, within hair salons, within, you know, book clubs, whatever. We just do shit. Oh, I'm going to go to a workout class. I'm going to talk to people. You know, like, we figure it out. Men, for some reason, when they talk about loneliness, they start talking about dating. Like, that's the thing. And it's like, romantic love is a thing, and a thing that a lot of women are missing. And I'm not going to tell you that I wouldn't like to be in a relationship at some point. However, it's not worth my fucking life. It's not worth my freedom. It's not worth my peace of mind. It's not worth the comfort and care and love that I already have in my life, risking that for the sake of having a man or woman in my life, you know? And that's, you know, a real reality of things. God, what was I saying that made me think of something and I was going to share it? Like, oh, okay. Mentions of someone taking their own life. If you are concerned about that, if you are not comfortable with that, this is not someone that I've met, but this is someone that I knew about. This was someone my dad knew, but I want to share this. This just happened, so I'm not going to share names or anything. But if you guys are comfortable, I can share this. Because I do think it's relevant. But my dad told me, I'm okay, but appreciate the warning before discussing. Okay. My dad told me that there was a guy that he went to school with, who they'd like kept in touch. My dad stayed relatively close in his town growing up. I left, deuces. But like there was a guy that he went to high school with that's now obviously his age. And we'd only I'd never talked to him, but he had made recommendations for like a couple of horror events for me to go to and like creature events for me to go to because he knew I liked horror. My dad had told him like, oh, Amanda loves horror movies. She's getting really into monster makeup. I had a whole monster makeup phase. And so he had recommended like Monster Palooza and a couple other events before YouTube became a big thing. So that was it. Never met, but like my dad felt the need to tell me that because of this. And obviously he felt emotional about this. And so I was like, are you okay? Like when he told me. But basically he had no idea that this guy had left California, moved to Louisiana, and just got extremely depressed. He got some job, became an addict, and he just could not find love. And he took his own life about 2 weeks ago, via train. Well, not via train. Was it? The train tracks were involved. I think he may have just shot himself. Okay. But the train tracks were relevant. Okay. And we were having this conversation, and it's, you know, my dad was telling me because one of the girls that had, we called her the stalker, because she was obsessed with my father. They went to high school together. She's the one organizing, you know, like high school reunions and stuff. She was very worked up about it, because they had talked, but like she had no idea. And so my dad was talking about like checking in on people. I'm like, you know, if he convinced himself that the only way he was going to be happy was having a wife, there's nothing that you calling him once a month was going to do, you know? And that sounds harsh, but he was like, no, I understand. You know, I was like, also, if it's like, you have no idea what he was going through. Like, you say he just got depressed. It probably was not he just got depressed, you know? It's probably that he was dealing with something. He thought moving to Louisiana would be a good idea, and it wasn't, you know? And, you know, he left a major city to go move somewhere that's, you know, less populated because he thought he was going to meet a good woman, and he didn't. It's hard to date when you're in your 60s. My dad's 61. This guy was 62, 63, you know? No dating equals lonely. Yeah, but that's not my problem, you know? And, like, I was explaining to my dad because he was, like, really worked up by this. And he was not worked up, like, he wasn't, like, because he didn't, it's, like, a weird state of being, you know? Because it's, like, this is someone that I knew, someone my age, that decided that the outcome was taking his own life. And my father, unfortunately, I've talked about this, he is one of those people that thinks it's deeply selfish to take your own life, regardless of reason, regardless of chemical imbalances or anything like that. He is one of those people. He thinks it invalidates all the work that they've done. So, like, he hates Anthony Bourdain now, truly. Like, he truly hates him because of how he ended his life, which is not healthy. He's talking about it in therapy or whatever. I'm sure he's talking about this in therapy. But I was trying to explain to him, I was like, you know, I know you think it's just like it got bad one day, but that's usually not what happens, you know? If he truly, whether chemically or otherwise, got in his head that his only way to be happy was to find a wife and be married, and that didn't happen, again, you checking in on him wasn't going to do anything, you know? Like, there was no one you could introduce to him that would have changed that, you know? Being illegal when I was a teen and is like, I still have something to look forward to. Yeah. You don't want to hear it, yeah. Yeah. So we're done talking about it now. But it's like, you know, the thing with the you know, my dad wants to chalk that up to like the male loneliness epidemic, and I don't think that's what that is. I think it's a complicated issue, and I think that decision is complicated for anyone to make. You know, no one makes it lightly. So, but yeah, the as far as again, it's not when we talk, like, I'll never forget when Trump won 2024 and I had posted about how I was going to be contributing to the male loneliness epidemic. The amount of men, including men in my audience, that openly admitted that they voted for Trump because they felt abandoned by the left, specifically where it came to relationships, and that they were disappointed that I, as a leftist woman, was feeding into this and not trying to help bridge the gap of where they were and women were, and they were disappointed. And frankly, I should have pointed and laughed at those people more, because that's not my fucking problem. I'll talk about a lot. I'm unbiased about a lot. I will check my bias at the door for a lot. I don't give a fuck that you're lonely. I don't care if you're, you know, as someone, again, I've been through much of shit. I've been through many a thing, okay? Been called a whore to my face by the person that birthed me. Had someone put their hands on me that birthed me, etc., okay? I'm not going to carry that around and hate women. I'm not going to carry the shit that men have done to me and hate men, okay? That's what I do. It's no one's fault that happened to me other than the people that did it. Okay? Now, is there shit I gotta work on? Sure. But the last thing I'm gonna do is blame, you know, being single on that. You know, the choice is there. The most pathetic shit ever, you know. Would they think we would want to get involved when they strip us of our rights and control our own body? Yeah. Remember that chant, your body, my choice? That one ugly fuck kept chanting, you know. What's his fucking name? Is that Aiden? That's not Aiden. It's Fuentes. That fuck. You're meeting people in general. I've been so lonely the last couple of years because anytime I meet someone cool, turns out they are so depressed that they don't want to do anything, or they only want to talk when they need to be cheered up or talked down. I miss having people to just laugh with, motivate. Honestly, as someone that does also attract that type of person, Shady, it's difficult, and it's unfortunately something I have to make boundaries about, because, you know, it's not fair to you, and unfortunately it's also, yes, they are depressed, but also, like, there's a level of energy vampire that is not healthy, you know, to have in your own life. And unfortunately, it's a level of discernment for yourself, you know. A woman in South Korea got together and went, enough is enough. What a successful campaign they're doing. It's all in response to violence against women. Yeah. You know, there's literally studies, and I don't know how, you know, widespread these studies are right now, but there's literally studies saying that Gen Z men are actually more traditional than, like, men in the 50s, i.e., like, the traditional gender roles shit. It's like, yeah, no, you know, like, why would I give up my autonomy, my life, to be a stay-at-home mom for you so you can have a maid? Or, like, you see these men, like, having fucking tantrums on the internet. Like, the one dude that was having a tantrum where he was like, I'm supposed to have a wife to deal with this shit. Like, talk, like, and then they go on to be, like, partners, allies, whatever, you know, like, as if it's a partnership because she does shit like goes to the bank for you so you don't have to deal with it. And also cook for you and fuck you and bury your children, which could kill her, and destroy her body irreparably. Hell, there was a woman I saw, she was screaming on the internet because she is incontinent now because she had 2 children. She pees herself. It's something that happens. It can affect your lining so that every time she laughs, coughs, sometimes if you know, clench ever in your body, it can trigger peeing on yourself after having kids. And she was distraught, like screaming at the camera about it. And like, again, it is, it's not the same thing, but I think we need to start thinking of childbirth in the United States at the very least. Like, we don't have, especially across demographics, our infant mortality rates are not the best. Mother mortality rates are not the best, you know. Leftover women and how that term came from the government and they've taken it as their own, and I love that for Korean women. It feels like men stopped growing up and just left ladies hanging, like the man-child thing is a thing. Yeah, you know, and it's like I meet so many amazing women all the time. Gorgeous women, talented, goals, dreams. And then it's like I meet men and I'm just like, okay, you have this one dream, you've decided this is it. You have zero desire to work for that dream. You just seemingly think that it's gonna get handed to you. Or you have zero desire to do anything because you think you deserve pussy. You know, like, just for simply being a high value male, despite the fact that you have no qualities of someone that's high value in any capacity at all. You know, and it's a weird place to be in. Gen Z boys are worse than older generations like granddads that they don't call women foids. Yeah. The ones that still have peace and autonomy. Pregnancy is terrifying to me. And I hate how I have had my mom and others be like, oh, after it happens, you don't remember it. And I'm just like, that sounds traumatic. Yeah. So I definitely recommend the documentary. It is jarring. They don't show anything, not really, but they go through a lot of the history of being born. It's called The Business of Being Born, I believe, if I'm remembering the title correctly. I watched it in my women's studies class in college. But it talks about how, I believe in the 40s up until the 60s, I think, they would take women away from their husbands when they were giving birth, drug them because they wouldn't remember, and then would literally restrain them with lamb's wool because it wouldn't leave, I believe it was lamb's wool, because it wouldn't leave marks until they gave birth. Like, that was one of the ways that they did it. And they did use that so it wouldn't leave marks until, so their husbands wouldn't ask about it. Be like, okay, yay, baby's here. Oh, I don't remember, you know. And like, that's not a thing that happens anymore, but it's not, you know, not the restraining part, I mean. But even then, it's like the way we give birth on our backs, like that's not, doesn't make fucking sense, gravity-wise, you know? It's literally because some man had a fetish for watching women give birth. And so being on your back made it so that he could watch his wives give birth. It was an easier view for him. And it's just stuck because it's easier for doctors and such to get in there while you're on your back. My coworker came back from maternity leave and told me her traumatic birth story, made worse because she's a woman of color, and just have to say, girl, no thanks and God bless. Yeah. The girl with the list, many a valid reason. You can tear. Tearing is very common, and I think a lot of women don't talk about how common tearing is. Tearing is literally where your vagina rips. And I don't like how they call it a tear because it doesn't sound like it's not a gaping wound. You know, Um, like, it's, there's so much they don't tell you, you know? Chainsaws for C-sections, yep. You're fine, Sly. It's most definitely traumatic, yeah. I'm always like, congratulations, all you women who talk about how traumatic a birthing process is when it sounds terrible. My friend's currently pregnant, and she's very excited, and I'm very happy for her. But she is tiny, and I'm scared. Because also, I'm small. I'm 5'2", you know? So, like, regardless of how tall the person that could get me pregnant would be, you know, like and my mom, there's something you also think about. A lot of women don't look at what their mothers went through while they were pregnant, or they don't ask. They don't know, or their mothers don't tell them. My mother was bedridden with both me and my brother, like traumatic pregnancies in the third trimester, to the point that, like, after my brother, my dad was like, I'm getting a vasectomy so that you don't go through this again. Like, they wanted more children. They were like, I'm not doing this to you again, you know? And this was pre-divorce, obviously, you know? But like, that's, you know, like that's something I have to think about. I'm even shorter than her, you know? Like, there's a very high likelihood I have narrower hips. I'm shorter. There's a very high likelihood I would be in serious pain the entire time. You know, very uncomfortable being pregnant. I've told him before we have children, he will have to read the list from the girl with the list aloud to me. We got to vomiting up shit, and he needed a break. Yeah. Isn't needed, and the stitches afterwards without a woman's consent is horrible. Yeah, the husband stitch is what they call it. They literally stitch up. Not always. Some male doctors think they're doing someone a favor, especially because they argue, well, you're stretched out because you gave birth. So they jokingly refer to it as the husband stitch to make it tighter. There's no actual benefit for the woman. If anything, I believe it makes sex more painful overall. But I think a lot of people chalk it up to like the pain after pregnancy, having sex in that period. It's also like you're not supposed to have sex right after giving birth, and the amount of people that I'm now seeing I saw a video of someone being like, hey, I learned why they say to not have sex for a certain amount of weeks after giving birth. And the amount of people in the comments were, it's like, well, why wouldn't they explain? Why would they just leave it open-ended like that? Why aren't you asking fucking questions to your doctor, actually? Why are we acting like pregnancy happens to you? Like it is a thing that can happen, yes. Fortunately, we're in the United States, we do have options. Also, protection is an option. Protection is not 100%, but still. I was having unprotected sex. I don't know how I got pregnant. I know. I paid attention in sex ed class, and every piece of media involving pregnancy, unplanned pregnancy, known to fucking man, actually. That has nerve damage from it. It was done without her knowledge. Ugh, I'm gonna throw up. Feels pain from penetration due to it. Oh, God. Saw this TikTok of a 19-year-old woman saying she just got married after knowing the guy for 9 weeks. That she is pregnant, only has a high school education, and she is so excited for the day, stay-at-home mom and no job. While she's saying this, another clip of a woman in 37 saying that, yep. Oh, yeah, no, I know that video. She's like, I'm 19. She's not pregnant, that girl. That 19-year-old. I know who exactly you're talking about. She's not pregnant yet. She's talking about getting pregnant, but she's not pregnant in that video. It's spliced in with the woman who is currently getting a divorce. There's a prenup. It basically grants her nothing. And I believe he's currently threatening to take the kids from her too, simultaneously. When our wife had their baby, answered my question with entire honesty. Mine was a C-section. That the sensation was different, definitely differently from before birth, and was never said a word about it to her. Gotcha. Yeah, a lot of husbands whack the doctor without the woman knowing. Yeah, see, if I find out about that, I'm gonna be on the news. If I find out. Hell, again, I saw another video of a woman breastfeeding in the chair and the man is asleep in her bed. Again, I'm divorcing you on sight. Divorcing you on sight. Also, again, I so there's this creator I follow. She's an American living in Japan. She got her degree out there. She's married to a Japanese man. She just had a baby. Okay, um, and she had a very traumatic birth. Unfortunately, she's now okay. Her baby's okay, but they took her baby from her, and she could only see her son for like an hour a day. Um, and she is a black woman, which I do think is relevant, especially because she's in Japan, you know. And frankly, it took her husband coming in because they wouldn't let him come in and stay with her. It took him coming in and like basically ordering a bunch of things around for her to get her private room that she had been promised originally, like all this stuff. Everything was much sorted and cared for once he got involved. And it's crazy because they're now home and she's resting. She had again a traumatic birth, so she's been put on bed rest, and he's taking care of their son. And there's still women in the comments that are like, as a carer, I wonder if anyone is I'm so sorry you're going through this, but like I'm just thinking about your husband. Like I hope who is making sure his needs are being met. And thankfully this girl, the mother replied, "Ayo, what?" Like what the fuck? And I'm so sorry. I'm really sick of this shit. I'm really sick of this shit, of that shit like that. Well, I think he very clearly loves his wife and his son, and he wants to be an involved parent, you know? So he's taking care of his wife and their fucking newborn. Because he's not a shithead. Congrats, it happens, you know? It's kind of like when, God, I'll never forget. So I always share this story because someone had posted a video sharing the stats about Gen Z drinking less. Okay, and they were like, why don't you? If you're Gen Z, why don't you drink? And you know, do you drink and or what do you or do you not drink and why? And I commented that I don't drink because my parent is an abusive alcoholic. Factually true. Tell me why some other fuck, and I will call you a fuck because I think this was fucky behavior, commented, but was there trauma in the past that led to them needing to cope with alcohol? Doesn't fucking matter. They put their hands on their children. They drank and drove a vehicle. Doesn't matter. They stole from their children. Mental and physical and emotional harm with alcohol. You know, like, are you fucking stupid? And I really want to get back to telling people that. Like so many of my friends are in that same boat where like their parents are alcoholics. Or have been alcoholics, and they're like, hey, I saw what that did to my parents in my formative years. I don't want to deal with that shit, actually. Now, a lot of these people do have vape addictions, but that's a separate issue. Who takes care of him? Him fucking self? Exactly. Well, Sly, that's not what so I think you're talking about the earlier thing. She's not relying entirely. She has a job. Like, she's not 100% relying on her partner. She's going through maternity gaps, maternity care time, where she physically cannot do anything. So her husband is taking care of things because she's physically weak from being she's shorter than me. She's tiny. And so she's, you know, like I said, it's very daunting on the body. Healthcare is too damn expensive to fuck around like that. Valid and fair. Oh, do we know what happened yet? Did you guys hear about this fuck shit? I want all these kids arrested. So, group of 18-year-olds were out partying for the 4th of July on a boat. One of them did not come back. They said they thought he got a different ride. The ride being the boat they were all on. Yes, he was the only black kid with a group of white kids. They did find his body recently. Today, they found his body. He is deceased. I believe on Kennedy Island or something. And yeah, I fucking hate that. I want all those kids arrested immediately for questioning. Because even then, I can't imagine, hey, my friend is missing. I can't imagine if any of my friends, I don't care if I was there or not, what the fuck do you mean? Who? Whose boat were they on? What do you mean? You just thought? Did you see them? Where did they go? I'm fucking borrowing a boat, stealing, and I'm going to go look. I'm not just like, yeah, we thought he got a different ride. Oh, well, you know, like, you're shitheads. Shitheads. Didn't they take his phone? Did they take his phone? Body found. Oh, fuck, hang on. They're mad at me about ads. Hold on. Body found during search for missing 18-year-old in Mississippi. This is by Gabe Huari and Bonnie Bolden. Of course, I get a Papa Bad. A body was found on Horror Island, Mississippi, and the search for the missing 18-year-old has been called off. His parents made the identification. Nolan Wells has been called off after a body was located Monday morning on the northwest end of Horn Island. The agency said officials have not confirmed the identity of the individual. What I found is that his family had confirmed it was him. Since he went missing around 3 p.m. on Saturday, July 4th. According to the reporting from the Clarion Ledger, part of USA Today's network, the Jackson County Sheriff's Office directed a search over land and water July 5th and 6th after the teen went missing. People have been searching the barrier island on foot, as well using planes and boats. The United Cajun Navy previously said on Facebook on July 6th that it remained actively engaged in the search effort for Nolan Wells alongside our public safety partners. And then this is just a video post about what he looks like. Let me see if there's any more. This one's from 4 hours ago, which means it's probably more accurate. So that means they found him on the island when the 4th of July trip was to that island, by the way. Wells didn't have his cell phone when he went missing. His parents, Christine and Elmore Wansley, now have the phone. Has posted photos and updates on social media, including images of Wells smiling on a boat with friends shortly before he disappeared. She said she and Wells' father have been awake for days looking for answers. We just pray our son is alive and safe. God. So this is still when they found him. I hate this. There's nothing else that's been released about the state or anything like that, but it's just... Okay, so don't read the comments on Facebook on any of these articles, for the love of fucking God. Again, other thing we have to think about, men being racist. But I feel like that falls under the Nazi thing. If it was alone to their own devices, it's just scary. They act like pack animals, often bullying one of their own, get on power trips when no one is around. Nolan Xavier Wells had been separated from his phone, so location tracking isn't an option, his mom said. God, so horrible. It's like that, the woman who died at the slumber party, she was an adult woman. Do you guys remember the story? This one haunts me because it's really fucking, hold on. This one, was this Georgia too? No, this is not the same one. Yeah, Tamla Horsford. On November 4th, 2018, Tamla Horsford was discovered dead in the backyard of Cumming, Georgia home, where she had been attending a slumber party with other football moms the night before. The 40-year-old mother was a mother of 5. And it's horrifying because there's a photo from the slumber party. And it's just like really, they're all so happy, you know? And it's like, It's the fact that none of the women talked. Like, none of them said what happened. We don't know. You know, she was drinking. You know, nothing. It's just, it's horrifying. Horsford arrived at the slumber party at 10 p.m. on November 3rd. Attendees drank, watched football, and played Cards Against Humanity. There were also 3 men at the house. According to the witnesses, Horsford got up at 2 a.m. to smoke a cigarette on the back porch. The next morning at 7:30 a.m., at 2 a.m., 10 p.m. Well, if she got there at 10 p.m., why would she got up from bed or okay. The homeowner's aunt found Horsford lying face down and motionless under the porch. At 8:59 a.m., Jose Barrera, the homeowner's boyfriend, called 911. In the 911 call, Barrera described Horsford as lying face down and not breathing. He brought attention to a small cut on her wrist, suggesting that it may have been self-inflicted. A woman's voice can also be heard on the call, speculating that Horsford might have been pushed from the balcony. The police arrived at 9:07 a.m. Under the porch. Multiple blunt force injuries and high blood alcohol level, which would make sense if they were all drinking. Officials speculated the latter caused her to fall from the porch and that the injuries were just a result of the 14-foot fall. Horsford's family and friends, however, were not convinced and called for a second independent autopsy that was carried out by Georgia Bureau of Investigation. According to GBI, medical examiners report Horsford sustained severe injuries to her head, neck, and torso. They discovered cuts on her face, wrist, hands, and lower legs, as well as a laceration to her right ventricle of her heart. The GBI toxicology screening found a blood alcohol level of 0.238, traces of THC and a lorazepam anxiety medication at the time of her death. Even before the results of the autopsy, speculation of foul play had begun to spread online. This was prompted 2 months after Horsford's death by Forsyth County Court firing Barrera, then a court officer, for assessing the incident report internally on multiple occasions. I.e., the homeowner that was at the party, because it's their home, accessed the case information privately through their job. Let me see if I can pull up the photo, because the photos, I don't want it to be haunting, but it's haunting because you know she's dead now, you know? This is from 2021. The photo was released at the time, but this is from Rolling Stone. New documents detail cops' bungling response to Tamala Horsford's death. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation concluded its investigation, and the DA declined to press charges, but documents first reported by Rolling Stone detail more officer blunders, from offensive Snapchats to questionable friendships. Here's the photo. Like, she looks so happy. She looks so excited. There was one lady who carried Xanax in her necklace and gave it out to people. She was supposedly the last person who saw her too. Tamala walked her out of the house that night because everyone else was asleep. Get an independent autopsy. Yeah. I'm curious about the offensive Snapchats. Yeah, and there was a lot of case here. Like, this got brought up during the Black Lives Matter movement in 2020. Which is probably why this article came out in 2021. Became clear multiple parts of the investigation had gone wrong. Worked on the assumption that Horsford's death was the result of an accident, not foul play. The crime scene had not been preserved, with potential evidence contaminated and witnesses not immediately interviewed. When Horsford's body was sent for autopsy, only a handful of autopsy photos were taken by the medical examiner. The public speculation largely focused on Jose Barrera, the boyfriend of the homeowner and party host. At the time of Horsford's death, Barrera was employed at the Solicitor General's office. Sorry, I thought it was the woman. It was the boyfriend. He kept checking in on things. Was fired from his position in December 2018 after he was found to have looked up information relating to Horsford's case while on the job. I'm looking for the da-da-da. Hang on, let me just do this. Control F. Snap. Spotlight on Snapchat. The GBI report also reveals new details and concerns relating to lead investigator from Forsyth County in October. This is mostly about the investigators. Christian resigned from the FCSO amid an internal affairs investigation into allegations that Christian sent multiple women with whom he was having extramarital affairs with confidential information about his cases. Bad. Worst pillow talk ever, by the way. In a statement in January 2021, Christian defended himself, saying that the woman whose complaint triggered the IA investigation had been acting out of hurt. I am far from a perfect human. Go fuck yourself. I chose to end the long-term extramarital relationship abruptly. This person out of anger. Oh, go fuck yourself. In 2020 hindsight, I would not have resigned, but stay with the investigation, take the punishment was fitting up to termination. As is, the IA investigation lacks my side of the story and makes me out to be something I'm not. Stupid idiot loser. GBI spoke to two women who claimed they have been sent details and, in one case, photos of the Horsford case. According to these women, Christian exclusively referred to the deceased mother as Porch Lady. Sharing the results of Horsford's Collie report, as well as his suspicion that the body had been moved. Another woman interviewed by the GBI claimed that Christian sent her photos of Horsford's body at the crime scene. The woman remembered Christian being obsessed with the case to the point of having panic attacks about it. According to his ex-girlfriend, Christian told her he believed the death was an accident, but doubted Horsford fell from the balcony based on her injuries. What? I hate this. I hate everything about this. Hate it. Where's my mouse? Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. So yeah, I hate all of this. And I hope that poor boy gets justice and all those kids are investigated. Not an accident. I can't believe no one was charged with any wrongdoing. Yeah. Derek's a retired detective, so it was cool to hear him talk about the evidence investigation. I just hate it. Sorry, my friend is messaging me. She's not feeling good. Sorry. Okay. So yeah, I saw that today and I was like, that poor boy, you know, especially because we don't know what happened yet. But the trip, so the friends, they were all on the boat going to that island and they found him on that island, which makes me again think that I don't know how big that island is, but it makes me again think that it's like, yeah, no, we thought he got a different ride. It's like, or you either did something or you assumed. Yeah, how big is Horn Island? Okay, it's a decent size. It's a bit off the coast. It's like long. Long, thin barrier island off the coast of Mississippi. Awful. Hate it. I hate everything. God, wait, that video of me at, what's it called? The Universal Kids Resort. The guys, that might actually, in a couple weeks, that might hit 200K and I might have to go. The island look isolated. I think they did something. I can't, nothing I'm seeing shows the terrain. It just says Long Skinny Island, and then everything's about the case. Let me see images. Oh, yeah, this is skinny as fuck. It's even skinnier than I thought. There's no fucking way they didn't know he was there. It's a very flat island. Visually. I wouldn't even say it's not about even being isolated. It's about the fact that it looks like, it's not even like, oh, we can't see him, he must have got a ride with someone, and there's like trees and shit, but they can't see him. Right now I'm not gonna cover the lads thing. I'm gonna wait it out, because I want to see if they cave or not, or if they double down. If they double down, I think it's extremely stupid. Because if they're smart, they will immediately, you know, turn back. Hello, Amanda. Hello. Based on that, my first thought was he passed before they left. Yeah. I want them investigated. Gosh. Let's see. Okay. Did we ever watch this one? I don't think we did. Do you guys remember the story of these guys? Bunch of nerds. Stole some Bitcoin from a wallet, I believe. Stole from a crypto wallet. I believe posted the Discord call in which they did it. And used it to try and get with girls the money they stole. And it's funny as fuck because one of the guys bought a girl a car and a Birkin, and she still turned him down. She still was like, I told you I don't see you like that. I told you I'm dating someone. Okay, fuck you. You know, like, it's extremely funny. And they were just like openly flashing women at, like, money at women in buying Birkins for women at strip clubs and shit, trying to like force themselves out of loserdom. And then the cops caught up because of course they did. I think this is, yeah, the Discord call. Yeah, this is it. You can't hear, hold on.
In Bitcoin.
You know how much money that is?
The Discord being late is crazy. Like $250 million.
What you probably don't know is, a week later, the parents of one of these hackers, Sushil and Radhika Chaitau, were abruptly rammed off the road by a Honda Civic while house hunting. At the same time, a white van pulled out in front of them, trapping them. 6 men then got out and surrounded them, forced them out of their car, beat them, duct taped them, and put them in the back of the van. They wanted to hold them ransom for the crypto millions their son had stolen, because after pulling off the heist, these hackers had gone on an absurd, ostentatious spending spree, and that kind of attention attracts predators. But of course, to understand this story, we have to take a deep dive into the seediest sides of the internet.
Again. Whoops.
Why were they even recording?
Sorry, again, if you are going to do crime, shut the fuck up. There will be signs, okay? But like, we're not popping bottles immediately. We're not immediately declaring that we're millionaires. We're not going and buying fucking Lambos and Porsches, okay? Shut the fuck up. Breathe, okay?
This in the first place. Buckle up. What you're seeing now is
I don't
clips
even
of
think it was.
Malone Land.
I don't even think it was clout. Like one of them was posting, so like maybe for one of them it was clout. I do think they were all fucking losers, and they all thought that like this money could change their lives. Not i.e. make a better life for themselves, but no, they literally thought it could catapult them out of loserdom and get them hot women.
The one who initially took the fall for this case because he was the most public about his spending playing Minecraft. There's nothing obvious here that would make you think this is a gateway to online fraud, but if you're a fan of my channel, you understand how real the Minecraft to SimSwapper pipeline is. And it's on this Minecraft server, Cosmic PvP, that Malone, then playing under the handle Greavies, would meet two avid players who would later steal $250 million with. The first was John D.L. Serrano, who was then playing under the handle I Am Box Tops. The second was Veer Chaital, who went by Wiz. If you search these names on Google, in quotes, you can find a good amount about their history in these early days. John DL was apparently running a Discord server where people could buy and sell Minecraft accounts. Some with rare names or Minecon capes could even fetch thousands of dollars. It's the first sign they were getting into this sketchy side of Minecraft where accounts are hacked and stolen and then traded for real money. This is important on these PvP servers. People often use cheat clients to get an advantage, and so their accounts get banned, they need new ones, and stolen Minecraft accounts can cost as cheap as $1 versus spending 30 with Mojang. And we know Malone was using these clients because people were posting videos trying to expose him for it. He was also making a little money by scamming people in-game. The other thing is, these hacking clients always seem to have communities around them involved in other sorts of online abuse, and it's clear that this group had gone full into it.
Minecraft scamming, I do think, is like the loser, you know. I do think like that's like the like I think that of the scamming via video, God, what would be a better one? I'm trying to think, like not grooming, like not predatory, but like actual scamming. Which is the worst one? Roblox I almost think is funnier. Minecraft, trying to think. Club Penguin feels like elite, you know, like that feels old school if you get scammed in Club Penguin, you know? I was told I scammed other 12-year-olds on Habbo Hotel. That tracks.
Because they had no problem doxing the admins of these servers. We're talking releasing their social security numbers and addresses when they got into an argument with them. And in one case, Malone even sent emergency services to one of their homes. If you've been around sketchy kids online, there's many that will dabble in these cheat clients and buying hacked accounts, getting rare usernames, posting someone's docs after an argument even, but it's kind of rare to encounter someone unhinged enough to actually call emergency services and swat people. Even sending a pizza is pushing it. I think that even for the teens involved in this stuff, they realize there's real-world consequences to that it's taking it too far, but Malone didn't seem to have that switch set to on in his head, and that's a trend I notice with at least hackers that get caught. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself because the first trend is what happens at the end of their Minecraft journey. Maybe it's from browsing too many Telegram channels for too long, but they realize instead of using these skills to hack Minecraft accounts, they can be used to hack large crypto holders. The Minecraft scams stopped being enough. By late 2023, Malone and John DL are building what the FBI would eventually dub the social engineering enterprise. They're toying with small crypto scams, making a small amount of money. So come October 2023, Malone leaves Singapore and flies to the US on a 90-day tourism visa with no intention of returning home. He moved into a rental house in Texas with John DL and a guy named Connor Flansburgh. This will become their first office of sorts. In collaboration with others online like Veer, they start forming this massive network capable of pulling all the pieces together needed to steal millions of dollars in crypto. See, within the comm, there's folks that specialize in certain areas. Data guys, people with access to leaked databases containing private information on high net worth crypto holders, and the talent to shift through those dumps to find whales worth targeting. Then unique callers, kids like Veer and John DL, pretending to be support agents at companies like Google, Yahoo, Gemini, like whatever logo they needed that day to social engineer victims. This was also one of the riskiest roles. Finally, there's organizers, people like Malone and Connor that stitch the entire attack timeline together, setting up phishing pages and waiting to instantly drain the crypto account.
Even this photo. Like, there's no like, if style-wise, there's no cohesion in the jewelry. There's no actual care in what you're picking out. He's got all these bands on his wrist. It truly is just, how much money can we spend right now? What's the biggest diamond? What's the craziest watch I can get my hands on? What are the diamond encrusted sunglasses? Like, this is, tacky's not the word. It's just obvious, you know? Either everything they're wearing is fake or they stole shit, you know? Like, it's very, like, does that make sense?
Of victims in real time when the callers get them access. There's of course other hands in the pot too, like people that can turn all the stolen crypto into US dollars and hopefully mix it along the way to make its source untraceable. And they even had a burglar on standby to break into a victim's home if their social engineering attack failed. This is a list of known threat actors in this group, and together they were about to start making millions. Speaking of millions, that's still a drop in the bucket compared to how many private records Flare.io, the sponsor of this video, is tracking. To pull off attacks like this, threat actors need C. Thank you, Flare.
Sorry.
It's not well documented how much they were making from early thefts, but we know by the end of 2023, the training wheels were off because Malone, John DL, and Connor moved from...
No, it's not so much. So it's kind of like a lot of older generations, old money, new money. Like, a lot of times it is just like snootiness. Like, they feel less like you've proven yourself long term. There's a certain prestige with family money, including though people are like self-made within the family money, even though they're not self-made. They had like $1 billion starting point, you know. But new money is very fragile. It's very, not always, like there are people that aren't fucking idiots, you know, but anyone who is performing wealth, something's wrong. Something's wrong. For example, there's a season of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Say even the current season, the one that just aired. There was a friend of, which is just like a friend of one of the main women. And every time she's on screen, she's like, do you like them? $20,000 from Chanel. Like, every time she is asked about something, she drops a price tag, basically, of what she spent. Like, it's like this great thing. And all of the women are like, that's crazy. They're all wearing Gucci and Chanel and Hermes and Moschino. They're all wearing all these brands, but they're letting the garments speak for themselves. They're letting the items speak for themselves. You could argue it's tacky. You could argue you don't like their style, but like, the items are tailored. It fits, you know, they're not, you know, they're items that they're wearing for a reason, if that makes sense. On the newest season, there's a character, Amanda, who is new money. She is a millennial. She is a money manifestation coach. She's a content creator. And she made all of her money selling courses and her books. And she is performing wealth in a certain way as well, where she's like commenting on her own Chanel backpack and things like that. Like, it's like, oh yeah, I make more money than I make what my husband makes in a year and a month. Like, it's a problem. Like, oh, it's not his house, it's my house. Like, even it's a different way, because whereas the original woman would talk about what she spent, this woman is talking about how much she makes and how much she makes in relation to what her husband makes. And it's a different level of tacky to these women. They're all bothered by it. Despite the fact that most of these women are the breadwinners of their families, you know?
From Texas to LA and rented a 6-bedroom, 11,000 square foot home on Clear Valley Drive. This is such a bizarre street to look at on Google Maps because every single house is blurred out. I think they likely put these requests in with Google for security. Maybe they didn't want like armed robbers being able to scope out where they were living. But anyways, this became their new base of operations, and from here, the first documented attacks start happening. In mid-March 2024, Malone and Veer,
my dad no longer lives there. My dad, old place, that was Lisa's old place. When you looked it up on Google Maps, the house next door would be blurred out. And it's because it was the guy was pretty high up at the DA's office for Huntington Beach. And so it was like, yeah, for safety purposes, so no one comes in and like murders me and my family. Like, his place was blurred out.
Social engineered a victim out of $600,000. In May, they got another whale, pulled roughly $2.9 million. Come the end of June, they hit another victim for $870,000. All of this while Malone technically isn't supposed to be in the country. He had no permanent residence or work permit. If the police stopped him on the street, it would be game over, especially because they weren't being quiet with the money. Already they were trying to book private jets and rent exotic cars. And to up the ante, when they targeted another victim,
Dumbest shit you can do, by the way, is rent a private jet. What you want to do is you want to make friends. If you get to this level of money, okay, you want to make a friend. You want to get into rooms with friends that have private jets. You want to become friends with people that already have them, because you're not making private jet money. That $600K is gone the moment you leave the runway. Okay? You make friends with private jet money at this size if you're going to do that, okay? But no, let's book a private jet ride.
Malone managed to access their Apple iCloud account and monitor their location in real time. Come July 21st, since they were unable to obtain the money through their normal social engineering scheme, they flew a guy, Marlon Farrow, to New Mexico where the victim's house was located. Outside, Marlon set up a burner phone to live stream to his partners in crime back home. Then he made his way inside. The plan was that if they saw someone enter the house through the live stream, they would give Marlon a heads up. Inside, Marlon managed to find the victim's cryptocurrency hard wallets, and he dipped. They made another $1.7 million from this physical attack. It's not clear what would have happened if the victim returned home. And it's like, this was almost a pointless amount of trouble because
you would have been arrested. You could have been shot. Who knows? Anyone who is 1.2 million in crypto is not just gonna let you walk out the door with that shit. You know, something bad was gonna happen, obviously.
3 days later, they hit their biggest victim yet, managed to steal $14 million. They were taking all of this cryptocurrency through a sophisticated social engineering scheme, one that was private to them. Nobody knew yet exactly how it was done from start to finish. But one thing was clear, they were pushing their greed to the point of failure. And that peak would come 1 month later in August, when they'd hit the heist that would finally make them say the words.
That's the car he bought the girl.
We're done! $242 million!
But unfortunately for them, there would be a double meaning to this. The Enterprise goes after a man in Washington, D.C. From data dumps, they've determined that he's a high net worth early crypto investor. Step one in their scheme is fear, because
side note, early crypto investor, the chances of that guy being involved in crime is high. You gotta remember, when crypto was early, it was only being used for illegal shit at the start. There were a handful of people that were like, yeah, I believe in the ability of this being a decentralized income. Okay. But at the start, it was only being used for crime. So if you determine, hey, we think this is an early crypto investor, you don't fucking touch that. Again, like I've said, crypto people, anyone involving crypto, the whole point of it being decentralized is like a big selling point for crime. Okay?
Because fear makes people do irrational things. They start with what's known as a multi-factor authentication fatigue attack. They've already found his login credentials to his email, likely from data dumps. So they start hammering the login page, spoofing their location to be from places like Russia and North Korea. This causes the victim to get a flood of security alerts on their phone. If you've ever gotten one of those pop-ups saying, "Was this you?" you might know that feeling in your stomach, thinking that someone is trying to hack you. This is where the caller steps in, likely Veer. Using a spoof number, he calls pretending to be from Google support. He tells the victim that his account is actively under attack, walks him through carefully planned fake verification steps that convince him to read out loud the secret recovery codes to his Google account. While keeping the victim talking, he's pasting those codes into Telegram for Malone and others to use them to get access to this guy's email. Once inside, they know they possibly only have minutes before the victim catches on and starts trying to shut down their access. So they tear through the inbox, the Google Drive, docs, sheets, everything that is uploaded to a Google account, looking for anything crypto related. Sophisticated threat actors have scripts made to do this automatically in seconds. You would be surprised how often people store sensitive information in their emails and cloud drives like this. But the other aspect is, if you have access to someone's primary email account, you can just go on the different websites that they're signed up on and usually reset the password and then confirm a code that comes by email to get into it. The first thing they spot is an atomic wallet, but it's basically empty. Then they notice that the victim has serious holdings on Gemini, the crypto exchange, not the AI chatbot. But there's time-based two-factor authentication on the account. They can't get
Gemini, I believe, was created by the Winklevoss twins, the guys that Zuckerberg allegedly stole Facebook from. Those guys.
it in with their email access
I
alone.
think. It could be
Behind the
another one. I
scenes on
believe it was
Telegram,
Gemini.
they start trying to improvise a plan. They decide to run a second call. This time, John DL pretending to be from Gemini Security. They tell the victim that his crypto accounts might also be compromised and pressure him to move funds to safety and quick. Under that pressure, the victim sends around $3 million to wallets controlled by the social engineering enterprise, believing he's just moving it to a safe, temporary holding wallet owned by Gemini for these situations. With the victim still scared and cooperating, they decide to push it even further. They convince him to install AnyDesk, to quote, share his screen so they can help with the recovery. Except AnyDesk is remote desktop software. It basically gives them root access to his machine like they're sitting in front of it. Once connected, they notice the victim has a Bitcoin Core wallet. They ask him to open it, and they can't believe what pops up on the screen. He has 4,064 Bitcoins worth $240 million. They can't mess this up. They start instructing the victim to go through steps to restore and back up his
That
Bitcoin
works.
Core wallet. They're freaking out in Telegram when he does. Then they instruct him to upload
See,
the
all
backup.
of this, we got him on NDS and I made him restore his wallet and create a new backup. We got him on AnyDesk and I made him synced through OneDrive. New backup and I synced it through OneDrive. Jesus. Dude, I love you.
Up wallet file.
He's probably like, so I said, I would assume early crypto investor, probably a criminal. This guy's probably not a criminal, but I also wouldn't think that he's like a businessman. So I'm really... Social engineering is a very good tool and it can work very well. It's the way that the rapper thief, the crypto thief, the girl that was rapping on the like Wall Street rapper or whatever, she used to do talks about social engineering. And so it can be very effective because you're more likely to trust a person on the phone than you are a chatbot or anything like that. It could be very effective. Really bad with computers, it seems. It doesn't even see, because he doesn't realize what's happening. He could be away from it. He could be only at his phone. He could be away from his home. You know, you never know. He could be out on a date trying to get this sorted. You know, for them, it's almost midnight that they're doing this, you know?
Files to OneDrive for, quote, safekeeping. Little does the victim know that the enterprise already has access to his OneDrive account through his hacked email. When those files hit the cloud, Malone instantly downloads them, fires them into his own instance of Bitcoin Core. Then, in 3 huge transactions, he sends all of the coins from the victim's wallet to one they control. And here's that exact moment.
Jade, it's on the
We
block.
did it! Oh my god!
Fucking what?
God! Oh my god!
No fucking what?
Let's go home.
$242 million! Bro, I'm gonna spaz out! Yo! We're done! We're done! I'm spazzed out! Do you know how much money that is? Holy fuck!
Shut the fuck up and leave, yeah.
Spent 3 days or is it 4
God.
days?
Oh!
That's pretty funny. Pretty funny.
I'm gonna lose my shit! Yo! How do I, hold on.
But little did they know, this call was being recorded. But that was going to take a little while to come out. For now, they were planning a spending spree like none other. But first, they had to tumble these bitcoins so they couldn't be traced back to the hack when they cashed them out. Bitcoin is the most transparent financial system ever created because every transaction is in a public ledger. Companies like Chainalysis have made billions of dollars developing systems to track the flow of coins to cash out points with the end goal of catching bad guys. And it's not like the victim was going to stay silent. Rich people have a lot of money to pay for the best investigators. And the SE Enterprise knew this. So about 17 minutes after the theft, they kick off a crypto mixing technique known as a peel chain, moving huge stacks of Bitcoin from wallet to wallet, and at each hop, peeling off smaller and smaller chunks to fresh addresses. At the same time, they start chain hopping, swapping Bitcoin into other crypto coins like Litecoin, Ethereum, and Monero. Over the next few weeks, the money bounces through around 15 different services and exchanges that lack
15.
KYC protocols, creating this tangle of transactions. They hope that it's untraceable. All the while, they're actively planning things to buy, sharing pictures of these designer goods in their Discord server, because there was no way they were going to do the smart thing and wait to spend this money. The temptation was too strong, especially for Malone. Like the sim swappers before them, Malone and friends, still in LA, decided to hit the luxury clubs. And all these videos start surfacing online of Malone spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on VIP sections and bottle service. DJs are calling him out by
Can't buy
name on
sense.
the microphone.
Who the f is
Hey,
Malone?
yo, Malone, you going real crazy like it's your birthday.
One time, to thank them, he handed a DJ a 6-liter golden bottle of Ace of Spades champagne worth $25,000 to $60,000. Another time, he sent
Wanted
a
to be a
DJ
baller
home
so
with
bad.
a $2,000 tip and tens of thousands in unopened bottles. He posted this TikTok the next day. His tabs were astronomical. Here's one for $250,000, and that was probably a light night. Another one for $300,000, and here's a third for $500,000. There's people on TikTok
Stupid.
reporting that they saw him spend up to $2 million in a night.
I
at
saw
these
girls saying, like, yeah, I did talk to these guys, they gave me a Birkin. He was just like at the table being like, you're gorgeous, do you want a Birkin? And just handed me one.
clubs.
Like, I'm talking, it had to have been, just within that 10 minutes that I was there, $100,000 worth of alcohol. And he had been at the club, like, for a while.
They were on a generational run, and LA, it wasn't big
stupidity.
enough for them. So where else do you go but Miami? Malone chartered a private jet, and they settle in an 8,500 square foot waterfront mansion with 10 bedrooms on the exclusive Hibiscus Island with a monthly rent of $62,000. This place
Stupid. You renting for $62,000 is crazy.
was decked out. They had the full 9 yards, 25-foot ceilings, pools, and they quickly filled the front driveway with supercars. Like a ridiculous amount of supercars. Multiple Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Porsches, Mercedes, Rolls Royces, a BMW, and this Aventador SVJ with Malone's name on the side. He even tried to get his ex-girlfriend back with one of these, a pink Urus and a Birkin
I got you a present. We'll call it early birthday gift, a thank you gift. I appreciate you so much. I am taken once again.
bag, but she responded that she has a boyfriend. Ouch. To compensate, he took a stack of Birkin bags to the club and started giving them away. The next day on TikTok, model Olivia Allen posted this video. Then this video by Sky Bree got posted.
A random man at the club gifted me this Hermes Kelly story time. I don't know his name or anything about him. He comes over and he's like, my friend over there wants to gift you a Birkin, but he looked pretty young. He comes towards me and he's like, I got this for you.
And Malone had all his own clothes to match the part. A Richard Mille watch, designer coats, iced out glasses, rings. The others in his group were not quite as ostentatious as him in terms of getting their name plastered on signs at bars and putting it on the side of a car that you bought with stolen money, but they were still spending it alongside him. But the more they spent, the more attention they got, and it wasn't just from girls as they had hoped. There was rival cybercriminals online that saw them spend
See, because he is young. I don't know, dude, with the way some of these guys are making, there are people making money in investments. There are people making money in sports betting, streaming. See, in Miami, it's one thing. In LA, I would assume, God, in Miami too, though, I would assume they were some streamer trying to like get stream points or some shit. Like, I literally would assume they were some like producer, rapper or something, you know? Like in these areas, young people having a lot of fuck you money. What are we doing? I probably should wrap up soon once we're done with this so that I can edit, but guy who did a heist, he social engineered and stole like a quarter of a billion in crypto. I'm looking at a Burke and I'm not posting how it happened. Yeah, I'm shutting the fuck up. That's a surprise later.
Spending this wealth on social media, and that gave them an idea. Maybe it was time to take things offline with a kidnapping.
Kidnapping is crazy.
During the late afternoon, Sushil and Radhika Chaitow were house hunting in an upscale neighborhood in Danbury, Connecticut, cruising around in the Matt Gray.
Hermes! Stop. Come here. He's trying to get the pasta on the counter. Can you come here? Come on. Come on. Upstairs. Hermes. Come on, come to work. Come on. Hermes. Come here. Come on, come up. You're going into doggy jail. Doggy jail. Yes. I love you so much. Hi. I love you so much. I love you, my handsome boy. We're watching crime. We're learning about crime. And how not to be an idiot. Puppy break. I need to trim up your legs again. You're looking fluffy. Hi, Hermes. Hi, puppy. Okay, you want to go down? You can, but you're gonna stay up here. Oh yes, yes, yes. Settle down. He's mad at me because we're not doing long walks because it's so hot. We're under a heat advisory again, so we're just doing like little potty walks, and he's agitated at me. Okay.
A Lamborghini Urus Veer had bought for them. He told them he was making money online through crypto trading. As they turned a corner, a white Honda Civic suddenly slammed into the back of the Lambo. At the same time, a white Ram ProMaster van cut them off from the front.
See, again, okay, I'm gonna cut this video because this is a long video. We're gonna stop it here. The problem with things like this, here's the link if you guys want to watch the video, the rest of the video. Hermes loves crime. It's one of his favorite pastimes. It's his preferred hobby. When you are this open about it, like there's already robberies in LA, even when you're not doing crime. There literally is a scam. There was this period of time where if you had like a nice car, like a Ferrari or a Lambo or a Porsche, anything, they literally told you not to drive on certain off-ramps at night because thieves were throwing boxes into the road in front of those cars. So you would stop to avoid hitting it because those cars are usually super low to the ground. And then they would break into your shit and steal your car. Or they'd follow you back and rob your house because you had a nice car. That's a shit that happens. You know, there's plenty of people that like flaunt their luxury goods and then their house gets broken into. Like flaunting like this, you're not a baller, you're an idiot, frankly. Let's see. Oh, 10-minute video on money laundering.
In a quiet apartment in Medellin, Colombia, a man tears open a wall.
Never mind, I take it back. I think this is all AI. Fuck you. I was all excited for a video on money laundering. Let's see. Let's see. Hi, Bubbas. I love you. I love you. Guys, I love Lost Tapes. Lost Tapes was such a good show. Shout out Andy. Lost Tapes was old.
Holy f***. Holy f***. Holy f***. Thanks for the 20 bandos.
He just clipped you 30K.
Yo,
This was real. I thought it was fake.
Nah, Ken.
I thought this was a streaming bit.
This is Griffin. He's only 15 years old. And he managed to steal over $60,000 in less than 2 hours. This isn't your typical story of theft. In fact, steal might not even be the right word to describe his actions. Griffin didn't break into a bank vault or hack into some system. Instead, he used a far more clever and sneaky approach, collecting the money through meme coins, one of the wildest and most chaotic parts of cryptocurrency. He pulled off a plan so clever that it left investors furious and the internet in shock. What makes the story so wild isn't just the amount of money or how quickly he made it, it's the way he did it. Griffin created and launched meme coins, capitalizing on their unpredictable, hype-driven nature to manipulate the value and cash out big. But what's even crazier, he streamed the entire process live, laughing and celebrating as people rushed in to buy into his coins. The aftermath was nothing short of chaos. He was being called a scammer by furious investors who lost their money.
Okay,
and the
I think this
crypto
is
community.
bullshit. No, this is definitely a bit. Okay, I think we're gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna rate out because I should edit. Man, I should do my job. You know, it's posting day tomorrow. We'll go live longer tomorrow. I was gonna write Anarchy. She's not live anymore. Gosh darn it! How dare she? Oh, here we'll read Callie. We're rating Callie. I think I met Callie at DreamCon last year. She's watching the Streamer University announcements. Have fun, be nice. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Bye.